I simply run up to this wall and just start climbing and jump. That's it. You just climb on through. For whatever reason. Dying Light is one of my favorite games of all time, and recently I did a nightmare playthrough with a friend, and in this playthrough we ran into a few funny bugs, like this one. Wait, I'm under the floor. Hello? Thomas!
Oh,
Help!
hey!
Help me!
Are
What
you
the
proud?
fuck?
Your head's just sticking out. How do you
Help me!
uh,
Help!
jump, bro? Goodbye. Oh, you just teleported the egg? Wow.
And if you're a fan of Dying Light and speedrunning, you might know there's a lot of exploits you can do to get a quicker time. For example, you can pass through walls at certain points by grabbing onto ledges to get through areas quicker. As an example, here's a clip from Aussie GG at the start of one of his runs.
Luke, he's playing GeoGuessr.
You're in Norway right now. I'm calling this.
That looks
Easy, that's a 202 second clip. Not 201, but
What the fuck is Henry
still
B?
better.
movie.
Yo, 202 clip, not as fast as my 201, but easy.
Get
Still
outta
good.
here, Luke. Get like outside.
Still good.
So this got me thinking, what could I find if I purposely set out to find these exploits or glitches? So I hopped on the game and essentially tried to break it. The grappling hook was my best friend in finding these spots. It's like it makes you feel like Spider-Man going from rooftop to rooftop. And here the reticle changes when you can hook to something. And normally when it's outside the map it won't let you, but when I climbed this wall in a specific way, it allowed me to hook to a rock outside the map. And now I could just walk in and out of all these textures and weird surfaces. And then you can walk on top of all the cave systems and stuff that is just under you now. But you did have to stay pretty close to these caves or tunnels, because if you went too far, it would say you're leaving the playable area, and then it would respawn you at the closest safe zone. Now this is a real odd one, it still confuses me how I found it. So I found myself on top of this hill in this little crevice and started hooking the ground until my head was through the floor, and then continued trying to hook lower. And eventually I was able to hook the floor and just fall, and for some fucking reason there's just water under the map that you can swim in. Like it just goes through the rocks where it would have water anyway. And then you can just swim for a little bit before falling to your death, I guess. I don't know. And then you respawn at the closest safe zone. This was a really simple one. I walked into a cave and looked up, and I just started hooking with the grappling hook until I was pretty much outside the map. And there was this like amalgamation of just unfinished textures, and just look at this. Just you could look outside the map and look around, and most of the stuff was like you could hook to, but you'd just fall to your death or fall outside the map and end up dying anyway. And here I was trying to climb into this like doorway through a wall in the following, and I made it into this little room. There wasn't much else to do, and then I hooked to the roof in between the pipes and got stuck. Like I couldn't do anything because this counted as a safe zone, so I couldn't pull out my grappling hook, my guns, or anything. So I was stuck there for good. And then I tried going to the main menu and logging back in. I'm still there. I can't do anything. The only way I can fix this is if I go to a previous save and lose progress, which was pretty funny. I don't know what happened to this poor fella, but he's not moving. He's still breathing though. He's still with us. He's stuck in time.
That boy is stuck in time.
And again, on the following map, there's this giant cave with these stairs, and there was this one point that if I grappled to it, you could see this little peaky hole that you could grapple again to, and you're just magically outside the map now. And you could just run around on all the textures and stuff like that. And it became this like platforming game because there was rocks you could like grapple to, and it was also a gamble because a few of them, if you grappled to it, it wouldn't be solid and you'd just fall through. Like here. You just fall through. And look at this save, by the way. Absolutely mental gamer. And then, yeah, you could just walk around on all these rocks and stuff. Pretty crazy. This is probably the craziest area I found. So there's this place called the sewers in between the slums and Old Town that essentially, if you're not fast traveling, this is the way to get between the two maps. So I found this vent that if you grapple up to it, you can just climb out of it and explore. And this was by far the largest out of the map area I found, because all the other ones were too far from the playable area to explore, essentially, and you'd immediately be respawned at a safe zone. But under where I am now, there's just all these pipes that you're meant to be in, so you can just explore really far away from it before anything happens. And it's so interesting. Like, there's that wall that just goes out into the abyss, there's all these floating buildings, there's random trees and textures all over the place, and then it becomes this weird like mix of like the two maps where if you pass this wall you can also see the buildings from Old Town just floating around as well. It's really interesting to just explore this area and look at all the mesh of the two maps, because this is just essentially the in-between area because of it being above the sewers. So it's just so interesting to just explore and look around and see all this like outside perspective of it all. And I encourage you to go look at it and look at all these areas yourself if you have the game.